Making silage is an interesting, detailed process. Many farmers don't even understand it, but Simon Brothers Dairy in Conway saves big money feeding it to their cows and has it down to a science.
You can make silage out of anything that's green, anything that's 70% moisture in that range. We've chosen corn, which that's pretty typical for this area of the country.
Moisture level at harvest is the key to making silage. There are several ways to get a quantitative moisture measurement, but this monster machine can do it, and a whole lot more. It's a forage harvester. You can't buy one in Arkansas, but drive up to Kansas and several dealerships will happily hook you up for a mere $1.2 million. Driving this bad boy today is the third generation, Logan Simon. He's 19.
First thing we do is turn the cutter head on. So that consists of flipping the PTO switch on, and you can hear we're spinning this mechanism right here under our feet right now. And now we'll turn the actual header on. And this is what's going to be cutting the corn off the stalk. And we're going to throttle all the way up to appropriate speed, and the throat under our feet will move up to 1200 RPM. Now that that's all set, our header's at the right height, it's on, we'll begin to cut.
We've grown a crop of field corn that's very similar to what the entire state of Arkansas grows. And for the corn silage, we like it at 70% whole plant moisture. So that means you take the plant to physiological maturity as far as the ear is concerned, and then you let the stalk begin to die backwards. And when you reach the 70% level is when you're wanting to be in the harvest window. You know they're ready to cut. Actually, I wish they were a little bit greener, but when you grind it up, there's still a goodly amount of moisture in the stalk.
It's late July and another 100-degree day in Conway. It'll be another 14-hour workday at Simon Brothers. But in about a week, they'll have enough silage to feed 200 milk cows for a year. This week's work and the scientific know-how of making silage keeps the family dairy going. It would cost them twice as much to buy the feed for a year that they'll harvest this week.
It takes about a 5-man crew to make it efficient. We've got 1 cutter, 2 haul wagons, and 2 pack tractors running today. A lot of work all at one time to get it harvested, but once you have it in a pile or silo, then it can be fed all year, and it maintains its quality extremely well. A cow will eat about 60 to 65 pounds of silage a day.
The machine is totally set for a cow. Every aspect of its design helps with digestibility and milk production. The machine is equipped with an onboard roller mill, so after the corn gets chopped up in the cutter head, it goes through a set of rollers that are set within a millimeter of tolerance, and they crack every kernel that goes through the cutter. If the kernel is cracked, the cow can digest it and can make you money off of that corn kernel. If the kernel is not cracked, then you can find whole corn kernels in the cow's manure. If you never find any of those, you know your chopper's doing its job.
The Simon's forage harvester does its job 10 rows at a time, covering 5 acres per hour.
I'll give him the hand signal, and he'll know to stop. Let the machine clear out. And now that we're done with that one, we're going to write it down on my load sheet.
There are 450 acres here. The Simons will harvest about 250 acres for the silage and use the remainder to make grain.
These 100-degree days are really drying it out. We're going to have to get after it pretty fast.
Logan's dad, Matt, and his 18-year-old cousin, Wade, are pulling 2-axle wagons that carry 20 tons from the field to the storage bin, where the silage is piled up and air mashed out. If the silage is harvested above 70% moisture, it's too wet. Yield potential reduces and seepage occurs, resulting in undesirable bacterial fermentation. If the corn silage is harvested too dry, it's difficult to pack down enough to force out the air. Trapped oxygen will allow respiration by plant cells, consuming valuable digestible nutrients, and the silage will heat up as yeast and molds grow, reducing silage yield and lowering energy and protein digestibility.
The moisture content will...
The forage harvester takes care of most of this. It kind of has its own lab.
As it goes up and down in moisture, it'll tell me right here what my chop length is. So as I've got it set, when the crop gets to 60% moisture, it's going to cut a 12 millimeter chop length. And as you can tell, it goes up as it goes up.
As soon as we get the volume of silage that we need on hand to feed the cattle for the winter, we'll stop chopping silage, let the corn dry to about 15% grain moisture, and put the combine in the field.
The whole kernel corn harvested on the Simon's remaining acres is stored in a silo and ground into meal to help make a perfect dairy cattle mix. In this storage area, other feed additives are soybean meal, corn gluten pellets, a byproduct of high fructose corn syrup, and dried distiller's grain, a byproduct of ethanol, and of course, some good minerals. Once the silage fills the bin, it's covered with a strong 5 mils plastic to keep rain out and cut down on oxygen transfer to prevent spoilage. Then a mesh cover is spread on top to keep coons and rodents out. The bunker cover comes from Michigan. It's white on the top side and black on the bottom, helping fermentation to the point of souring, kind of like making sauerkraut out of chopped cabbage.
Silage is just a preservation term.
Once the silage is in the pile, plans for next year begin. And the miraculous self-propelled forage harvester has the Simon brothers ahead. Its fast-spinning cutters are designed to leave each stalk splintered, making it easier to start the composting process in the field that is dished under the week after harvest. Does it make you nervous driving a $1 million piece of machinery?
No, I've kind of done it for a long time, so you get used to it. You kind of forget about the price tag. You got to respect it, of course. A lot of stuff to look at to make sure you don't hit anything. The spout sticks out a long way, so you got to watch for tree limbs very close. And then the header is so wide that you got to keep it from hitting the ground on ditches. Keeps me on my toes. My camera over here makes it a whole lot nicer to keep the forage in the wagon. Every once in a while, a little bit of silage slips out of the wagon. I really enjoy running equipment, and I think that running equipment for the benefit of an animal is just perfect for me.